So I'm just thinking if there's still a slightly niggly knee, well, you just bend the knee a bit less, or just sit the exercise out. But I will think about how we might do some good things for knees. 3 things about knees. First, you can strengthen up all the muscles of the thigh that put tendons and ligaments across the knee joint, the quad muscles, the inside leg muscles, the hamstrings. You can strengthen these muscles up. If you ask a physiotherapist, that's what they will do. However, there's 2 other things you can do for your knee. The first thing, the concept of the door with a single hinge. Your knee is like a door with a single hinge. How do you work a door with a single hinge without breaking the hinge? First is you only open it a little bit, and you work carefully and keep it in alignment with no twist. So that's why I'm saying don't bend your knee too much if it's sore. And then you need to work it in alignment. So you need nice, strong, controlled feet and ankle muscles. And you want to have nice, controlled hip joints and lower spine muscles. And above all, finally, is the good posture that you're tall and relaxed and in alignment. If you stand on one leg, let's stand on one leg. Are you nicely aligned? Now, to look after the knee, we're not bending it too much. We can put some bend in the other joints. Take a bow, put the leg out the back. And we could just switch over. Have we got nice alignment? Is the knee working like a hinge with no twists? This one's not so good. Yeah, foot and ankle not very strong. And so if you can do that with minimal knee pain, you're already getting back some confidence. So let's look at the feet now, and we'll just do the simple strength and coordination for feet and ankles. So hopefully you do have a block of wood or something. You can put a hand on a wall or... Okay, so we'll just do another 15 seconds like this, and then I'll talk a little bit about spreading the toes. I want you to imagine, you're just going up and down, but I want you to imagine that your toes on your foot are like a fan. And you take a Spanish fan and you take one side and the other and you just spread it open. Because on your foot, there's a muscle that pulls the little toe out to the side. There's another muscle that pulls the big toe out to the side. So it really is like opening a fan. We're going to work at spreading our toes and lifting them. And so this is what I mean by spreading the toes and lifting them. It's like they come up towards me and wide. How wide can you take your toes? Mine don't really want to do it today. Maybe the other legs can do it. Yeah, there we go. And I think you can almost imagine that the toes can spread wide, like opening a Spanish fan, pulling it wide. So if you find it's not very easy to spread your toes, you can always come down and pull the big toe wide and the little toe wide, and then you've got a few millimeters between each toe. Perhaps you might like to join me and just do that. And so I've got the toes spread wide, and I'm going to spread my fingers wide too. Now here, if I can just get the heel just off the ground. Yeah, working on balance. By spreading the fan of toes wide, we've got a stretch in the muscles in the front of the foot, and there's more sensory awareness. The stretch makes the muscles more sensory aware. They're sending more signals because they're stretched. I think I'll go and put my hand on a wall this time. So, okay, we'll just get the toes wide. We'll just pull them wide. There we go. Push them down. All right, so heel just off the ground. And I think you can realize that there is more sensory awareness there. Now, if we want to strengthen up ankles and feet to look after a knee, well, the very first thing is just every day, just stand on one leg with the heel off the ground. And if you're going to do that, why not spread the toes like what we've just done? If you're getting impatient, you could take the heel down and up. And we're going to explore what we can do with squats. Because squats are a very good, useful exercise, but can we modify them to get a little less knee movement, or shall I say, a little less knee bend, a little less twisting? that might hurt a vulnerable knee and make other joints move more. So we could just start with thinking of squats. I think the German for a squat is something like kniebeugen, like knee bend. But you could maybe tell me later if I'm right or not. Interesting difference. We're not bending the knees very much. In English, it's easier to squat with and not worry about knee bend, maybe, I don't know. So supposing we just made a totally knee bend, well, you might say, well, I can only just move a little bit because the knees won't let me do any more. Well, that's all right. It's just a little movement. It's like only opening the door an inch. There we go. Or maybe we want to get the movement in the hips instead. A little bit of knee bend, okay. And we can just get into a good morning. By the way, did you lift your toes and spread them wide? Why not try it? And why not spread your fingers wide too? Why not take one hand up and just, yeah, so we're getting ourselves lower to the ground with hardly any knee bend. So we've still got other squats to do. We can go think about single-legged squats. Simply bend the knee a little bit. And now if we think about going tall and think the ankle lifts, the ankle lifts, the ankle lifts. So this ankle's doing some up and down movement too. It's not going to get it close to the ground, but the ankle is actually helping with the up and down of a squat. Okay, we'll just do the other side. So putting more movement in the other joints. What were the three strategies for knees? Strength for the thigh muscles, strengthen the ankle and foot muscles, and working really diligently to not put any nasty side bends and twists in your knee. That's pretty much it. Oh, put the movement in the other joints. Maybe that's 4 strategies. Okay, so what is it like if we just, here we've got the full single-legged twist squat, like you go up over here, ankle might come off the ground, coming down. Now the knee bends slightly. It has to bend a little. Maybe you only go this far, but you're thinking about putting the elbow on the chassis. Up, heel up. All right, maybe you only get that far. You're working with what the knee will give you, but you're getting control in a nice, controlled, smooth, aware way. You're getting control, the strength and alignment and control that should be minimizing the knee twists. I'm pushing through my foot, and I kind of have to. If I try not to, it's like, it's awful to do that. But if you come around and you think about bringing your elbow down, you're pushing through the wide toes, the knee is aligning. If you look down, kneecap's aligning over about the 3rd or 4th toe. It's in alignment. It's not sort of doing this horrible thing because it's so awful doing that, you're not going to do it. In fact, the only way a person can cheat, listen to this, the only way they can cheat doing this is if they lock their knee and it's perfectly straight. Let's try the other side. So you don't have to move very much. You just have to do the movement. But just reaching up and out, heel just off the ground, and down we come. Maybe you only go this far. Have a check. The kneecap pointing over 3rd toe. Or maybe if you can go further, you can. So somewhere in there is a little gold for a 3/4 improved knee. Obviously, if it's only just recently damaged and really sore, you wouldn't be pushing too hard with that. I'm going to do some fairly vigorous stuff that looks like classic Pilates. I may choose to do it like in 3 sections where I'll join you for the 1st and the 3rd section because I'm getting old. So we'll just get down on the mat, starting with a modified Pilates 100. You're lying on the mat. So just bring your head up, look between your toes. You feel your tummy, it's working up and down. So see if you can get your ribs just off the mat, rib them off, knees slightly up, but the heels are still on the ground, pumping. And so we'll just do that for 10 seconds. We'll take a little pause in 10 seconds, it's about 5 seconds. So you've got your ribs off the mat here. A little pause, like the tummy is firm. It's not puffing up to the ceiling like a balloon. All right. Now, if you're feeling good with that, just lift your, all right, there we go. I'm just going to do another 10 seconds, and then I'm going to take a break. And if you want to do another 10 seconds, do it. But I'm going to take a break. That's me out of it. You can take a break too if you like. The sit up in bed, head up, take your shoulders to your ears and press with your elbows. Take a big sort of good morning stretch and dive your hand over like a wave breaking. And then tickle your shins and come back down. Shoulders to ears, press with the elbows, and just slide down. It's good to have the stretch back here. You're really stretching your ribs out. And while we're there, you can think about relaxing around your hips. Maybe your toes point outwards. And without pushing your body to mat, but ask it to gently sink down to the mat. Breathe into the middle third of the body and relax and lengthen your neck. Okay, so let's just do 4. Remember, once the elbows are down, the shoulders to ears, press with the elbows. Nice little stretch out the middle of the body, breath. Elbows to carpet, shoulders to ears. This is like the roll-up, but it's using a little help from shoulders to ears and elbow press. All right, I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to stop halfway. Nice breath. All right, elbows to carpet, shoulders to ears. Can you hold there? Tummy is working. Can you feel the lengthening on the curve from the hips to the lumbar, to the ribs, to the neck, to the head? And melt back down. Leg to the ceiling for single leg ellipses. So it's not a circle. We just make it like the path of a comet, a trabant. So we can take the leg across the body, brush past the ankle and up. There we go. So there's not much sideways movement, so there's no clunk in the hip. When we've done 5, take a pause, and take that leg a little out the side, not too far. And 5. We switch legs. Single leg ellipses or ovals. A little across the body. Okay. We're going to do 5 and then the other way. I think you'll find this is really quite a nice movement. It's not asking the hip to do too much just yet, and we can be quite fast. Okay, the leg out and then down. Not very wide out. It's a nice movement. A single leg windscreen wiper. We'll go back to the first leg and just take it over and over. See how my arms are a little wide? Now, the cueing for stability at the center of your body or core, the core stability cueing, I just paused here. Lengthen from the hips to the chest, to the neck, to the head, lengthen. And that's your basic cue. And breathe into the middle third of your body while you're lengthening. You can have a nice little push with your elbow and shoulder blade while you're lengthening and breathing. I'm going to switch to the other leg now. Yeah, so when we've done this in about 10 seconds time, I'm going to show you the roll over. But before that, I'll give you the cue that keeps your lower back safe. It's a lengthening cue. I'm just going to come down a little bit. The rollover will have the legs pointing to the middle of the wall behind or a little higher. So the legs are going to be pointing backwards. But at the same time, my sit bones here will be pushing to the ceiling. Heels together, up we go. Sit bones to ceiling and the rest will happen. And slowly roll down. There's the goal. There's the goal in the exercise. So as its legs point to back wall, its sit bones go high to the ceiling. All right, there we go. And slowly pushing the sit bones high. There's your lengthening cue. Did you see that? That was a sit bones high. It's a lengthening cue. Up. Ooh. So we want to do, I'm going to do 2 more. Traditionally, we would not do more than 6. Legs wide. Up we go. Up. Push the sit bones high. And heels together. And push the sit bones high. Let's see if we can take it slowly on the way down. Slowly. Slowly. Let's just come up. For rolling, just a little clap of the hands, but with some keeping your hands more or less straight, or the fingers more or less straight. Here we go. Try this. Yeah, so you're not pushing your pads of your fingers hard into your shins. Okay. What do we come to next after this version of rolling? Did you notice, by the way, you've still got that lengthening on the curve, like you're lengthening away from the chest, away from the hips, etc. Do you still notice that? And that's the cue that makes sure you never put a hard twist or bend in your lower back, so it will stay safe. Lengthening is good. Single leg stretch. I've got my fingers more or less straight. 1, 2, 3, or let's do 8. And then I'm going to commit to a stretch. So just pull it in. Yeah, just pulsing that stretch. Double leg stretch. I'm just going through what's kind of a baby having a tantrum version. Keep your knees and your elbows slightly bent. Okay. 3 of those. And now slightly bent elbows, slightly bent the other side. Ooh, a little bit wide, and you feel the inside legs working. So maybe we're getting some strength in the inside legs here. It's going to help the knee. Okay, and we could just rock on up. Just try that. This is a little different to, usually I have hands behind the knee. If you like hands behind the knee, you can do that. Okay. I'm going to use a spine stretch forward version that looks a bit like a lion pouncing like that, you see, or it's maybe a wave breaking. So first off, let's just see if you can sit here with these lower ribs forward. And how does that work for you? Okay, arms up, and bend the elbows and make like a dive. Down you go. And slide your fingers up your leg and ribs forward, head bends forward, dive. Ribs forward, arms diving. All right, we'll switch over. So as I was just saying, this is like ribs forward. It's like a lion pouncing or a wave, ribs forward, breaking. With the arms reaching up, this is also a lengthening cue, right? Just the whole body lengthens, right? And here down here, we're lengthening on the curve, through the hips through the chest to the neck to the head. We're lengthening on the curve. Let's turn this into a stretch. Well, we're just going back to, well, whichever toes there, reach your hand over. Doesn't matter which, because we're going to use the other one shortly. And just see if you can encourage still lengthening from hips to chest to head. Now come out of it gently. Just put your hands on your thighs and walk the hands up. And the other hand now. Same foot, the foot of the leg that's underneath. And just encourage a lengthening on the curve from the hips to the chest, to the back of the neck, or to the neck, to the head. Where are you breathing? I'm thinking about breathing into the middle third of my body, and I'm noticing it's comfortably going into the lower third of the body as well. It's also going into the back ribs. I'm going to switch over and share something else about breathing. Let's just switch your legs over. So I'm not worried about which hand you use first. I just over we go. And this is actually helping lengthening through the body. Just with the arm coming forward, you're lengthening on the curve. And as we breathe in, it might be mostly the middle third of the body, but the breath will grow into where it's comfortable parts, and it will grow out from the center third. So as we breathe in, to the peak of the in-breath, we relax and lengthen the neck. So breathing in, nice long neck. Ah, yes. So before we know it, we have really flexible hamstrings. And it was really nice because we did postural breathing and lengthening. So we walk the hands back to make it nice and easy to come out. Other hand, reaching for the foot that has the ankle underneath. Breathing, neck lengthening. Walk the hands back. We would like to put a little twisting exercise in. Let's just do the driver looking behind. The hands help you go tall again. You see, here's another lengthening cue. Just push with your hands. And let's have the eyeballs twisting around to look back in the back window of the car. The eyeballs twist around and the shins twist around, and other body parts will follow. Let's go. We're tall. Right, around we go. Eyeballs, shins. Keep your gaze at eye height as you come around. Eyeballs, shins, so maybe your heels lift a little. Lengthen, relax the neck. All right, so you switch the legs over. And again, just eyes at eye height. Round we go. Eyeballs are looking at the corner of your eye. Shins twisting. And then round we go. Eyeballs, shins, come back. All right, bridging. Why don't you just take your feet, and can you just let's just say take the left foot. I don't know how well you see that, but if I just lift the heel a little, and I push with the ball of the big toe, or the pad of the big toe, and spread the toes and land them back down. Now the other leg, the heel lifts a little. The pad of the big toe is still there, and I just send the foot wide, and now try and get the toes wide. So I've got wide toes as I'm doing my bridging. 2 stages to a bridge. Both of them help us lengthen out through our body. First stage of the bridge, tailbone curls up, hips, lumbar, there we go. But the ribs are still on the mat. The second stage of the bridge, lift each line of ribs. Up we go. The knees go forward. And on the way back, put each rib into the mat, and then curl the lumbar and hips down. So just to shorten that, you got your toes wide, and they're squelching, pressing into the ground. First stage of the rolling up into a bridge, hips and lumbar, up. Now each line of ribs, and there we go. And down, the ribs go down, and the lumbar and hips roll down. So you've got your rolling stage and you've got your rib lift stage. And once you can just acknowledge that, and they can just make it nice and smooth, and you've got this 2 stages, and you can listen to your body. Oh yeah, that's the hips rolling up, and now it's the ribs lifting. And this is just a trick for how to categorize and monitor the movement. Hips roll up, ribs lift up, ribs go down, hips roll down. Okay. So how about trying that with one leg up, toes pointing forward? We'll do it 2 times. Hips roll up, ribs lift. Each line of ribs down, hips roll down. Up, ribs down, hips down. Switching legs. I'm still spreading my toes. You can do that if you like. Okay, so two times. Hips roll up. Each line of ribs lift. Ribs down one at a time. And the hips and lumbar roll down. Last one. Hips rolling up. The lumbar, the lower body, the lumbar. And then the ribs up. And reversing, you know what to do now, like ribs. And then the tummy, the lumbar area, and the hips. Let's take a leg to the ceiling. And let's see if we can take a hand behind the knee. And it's the same, hips up, ribs up. Imagine holding a cowboy hat. Imagine you're riding bareback on a horse in a circus. Push the hips a little higher. And imagine you're balancing there, riding on a horse, hips up, just jiggling, bouncing. Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. How's your balance on the back of the horse? 4, 3, 2, 1. Remember the stylish way to come down? Ribs down, hips down. All right. Are you enjoying your ride lying on the back of a horse? Leg up. Curl the hips up. Send each line of ribs up. And we just put a hand on that knee. You've got your cowboy hat, just hold it out the side. As soon as you hold the cowboy hat up, you feel you're lengthening in your body. All right, so find your balance. We're on the horse, it's trotting along, so or it's cantering perhaps. So up and down, 1, 2, 3, lengthen your body, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, ribs down, lumbar down. Lying on the side, I'm still going to be talking about lengthening on the curve, but we're getting a side bend on the body, so the body's curving sideways. Classic side line for Pilates, head on the hand. And arm bone in line with body, legs forward. Let the ribs sink down, and we can just trace this with the hand from the pubic bone to the belly button to the breastbone, through the neck, chin, head. There's a curve. So think about lengthening on that curve. What do you feel? Could you lengthen to that curve and take your hand away without the head moving? Okay, so first moving with the front and back kick, lengthening through this curve, sinking the ribs down. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, coming up. And you're lengthening and thinking about keeping the weight light on the head. Let's bring an arm action in like marching the arms close to the body. We'll do a count of 6. So, ready? 1, 2, 3. Keep the weight light on the head and lengthen through the body. Now, the next time, the arm's going to come up and over like a rainbow, and the leg will do the same. If you're looking at the rainbow, it's in a rainbow shape. Okay, so up and over, up and over. You're keeping the weight light on your head and lengthening through your body. Core control is about lengthening and breathing more or less in the center of your body. There we go. Let's just come up and over and try the other side. Classic side kicks. Head on the hand. The ribs sinking down. Can you keep the weight light on your head? Think about lengthening on the curve. Yeah, legs forward. If I stop at some stage, it's because I got cramp on just in the inside of my shoulder blade here. Okay, just a simple leg forward and back. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like counting the ticks of a clock. Am I lengthening on the curve through my body? Is the light weight on my head? How about you? Okay, 9, 10. Okay. So the marching with the hand close to the body. Arm back, head, leg forward. 1, lengthen through the body. 2, 3, weight light on the head. I think that's 6, right? Like a rainbow. Let's have the arm and leg ready. Up and over. Weights light on the head. Lengthen on the curve through your body. Okay, so excellent. I can face the mat a little. Hope this is all right for your knees. Well, we're going just do the straight rocking back with testing the comfortable limit of knee bend. If your knee is like a door with one hinge, well, how carefully could you open the door, and how far could you open the door? So you go to the boundary of the comfortable for your knee. All right, so let's just do some little stretches for the hands. So wrist up, and see with how much you can press into your hands with the wrist up. You can lengthen through your body and breathe into your belly and up to 2/3 the way up your body. The bear. I'm not sure how this is going to work for your knees. Maybe you have to straighten them a bit. All right, so can you move arms and legs like a bear walking, but with a minimal twist on the knee? Maybe you just have to, you could come up on your fingers maybe, and that might help. And can you find out how to walk like a bear? I'm a little bit high to keep the knee straight. This would be easier if you've got a sore knee. If you can bend your knee and get your knee close to your chest, then that's the true bear. What can you do? Supposing you did 3 minutes of this every day for 6 months, you'd have some interesting strength in many places.
I can imagine you saying, I have a sore knee, I will sit this out. Oh, well, maybe you're just sitting and watching and having a little laugh. All right. Well, tall kneeling. I'm going to explore some quad stretches now. So tall kneeling quad stretch. Not sure if this is okay for you. If not, lie on your side and do a quad stretch. All right, so we press the hip forward, maybe a little bit to the side there. Now, as I get older, I'm really beginning to appreciate why in yoga they'll hold a stretch for up to 2 minutes. Because my old strategies are not working any longer. I have to stretch for longer, if that's appropriate. So I'm holding the stretch for a little while. And you may very well decide to intelligently do your own version of a quad stretch, whatever your knee and your body will give you. I've got my knees close together, hip forward to the side. Oh, right, there's a stretch. So the next piece I'm going to be slowing down, just doing some hip flexibility and awareness work. Okay, so maybe I'm just going to be stretching at the side of the hip a number of different ways. Join me on this little journey. How do you get into your chair? So I'm sitting on the front of the chair and think about pushing the knee down. Now, if you're there doing that, you can see there's a rocking action going on. By doing the rocking, you can see the movement. This knee's going down. This knee's going out the side, watching there. Okay, so unfortunately, unless somebody can tell me otherwise, when you're stretching out hips and you want to get hip flexibility, you do have to do some pain to get some gain. So we'll try and smile and get used to it, because it's like you do the suffering for the joy set before you. There's a verse in the Bible about that. You do the suffering for the joy set before you. Now, if you know it's going to do some good, and you're convinced it's going to do some good, you'll put up with a little bit of discomfort. But hey, maybe that's not too bad for you. Again, the breathing, a comfortable lengthening and breathing, middle of the body. And if the breath goes down into the belly and the back ribs, well, that's good. So 90% of the time, it's best if the shoulders do not rise on the breath. Perhaps we could just practice a rise of the shoulders just once, like breathing in, shoulders lift. Yeah, that's not very stable, is it? Everything moved. Well, okay, so we'll just try, perhaps one more, and just notice that it's not stable. If you breathe in and lift your shoulders to get a bit more breath, it's not very stable. So, and it's also very tense for your neck. You get a sore neck, you get a sore head if you breathe by lifting your shoulders all the time or switching the other leg. This knee down, this knee out the side. Ouch. This is my tight side. Yeah, so why is it sore on my knee here? It's sore because the tissues are very tight on the side of the hip and also very tight down the side of the leg. The two go together quite often. And I don't know what it does for you. So now here's the thing, I'm guessing that for you, it's quite a little bit painful. Das macht ein bisschen weh, but there's different methods of doing this. The theme is at the moment stretching the side of the thigh and the side of the hip. All right, we just hold there and breathing. I'm going to show you another version of this. You're seated on the ground. Actually, I'm just going to show you, yeah, I'll show you the seat. It's just the same thing, basically. Just, okay, that's easy enough. We just push down. You might say, oh, that's like a little easier. Be tall, shoulders wide, center of body breathing. All right, how did that feel by comparison? Now, take a little look. I've got maybe a 10-degree angle on my shin. I don't know, what's yours? Try the other side. Take a little look. This time I got a 12-degree, 15-degree angle. Feels tight, it is tight. It's tight to the side of the hip and the thigh. All right, so how else could we do this side of hip stretch? We lie on our back and do a bridge. You're noticing all the time there's a similar shape and space for putting an ankle up just above the knee, or actually it's just above the ankle. There we go, similar shape and space. We just push that knee away. As I push the knee away, the other knee is going out the side. If you watched, you could see that. Pushing. The beauty is that you don't have to hold your body upright anymore, so you can relax and work at your lengthening and breathing and enjoying the stretch. This might be the ideal way to stretch the side of the hip and thigh. I find really nice breath here. Let's just try the other side. Yeah. This is my rather painful tight side. This is easier doing it this way. All right, we'll just hold for 5, you push the knee away. So hopefully this is hitting a spot for you. Maybe you're finding some tightness around the hip, and if you think maybe you loosen it off, it's going to help you use your sore knee in a more aligned fashion with less twisting. All right, so back to the first leg. Remember how to roll up into the bridge. Roll up the hips and the lumbar or lower back area. Hips, lumbar, now the ribs up. Put your hands on there. Yeah. So my hands are touching my knee. They're somewhere about halfway down my thigh. Hips lift, push the leg away. Shoulders and neck relaxed. How is your breathing? So I'm breathing into the lower body and the middle third of the body, because it just feels kind of nice. Breathing in at the peak of the breath, relax the neck. I wonder what the other side will feel like. Let's find out. How do we lower? Ribs, then roll down with the hips. Hips roll up, ribs lift, push the knee away. And the breathing into the lower 2/3 of the body, and a peak of breath, relax the neck. Ooh. Begins to look like yoga, yes? Imagine doing this, say 2 minutes each leg every day. What would it do for us? And we lower the ribs and curl out of bed. I have one more to show you. This is lying back with the crossed legs. Now, the closer I can get the knees, the better. So the people always cheat by getting the knees wide apart, but try to bring them reasonably close. You can see I still have a little gap there. Okay, so down we go. And the top leg encourages the other leg to push down. This is a stretch for the muscle of the side of the hip. The muscle of the side of the hip is called a tensor fascia lata. If you have a tight IT band, which is a pain on the side of the knee, if you have a tight IT band, this is the stretch for it. Curiously, you don't feel the stretch by the knee, you feel it at the top, just on the side of the hip. All right, so if you just maybe encourage that knee to sink down now that we've gotten used to it. Where's your breathing? Well, again, low 2/3 of the body. I can get a nice belly breath here. I'm going to compare the other side. So maybe it's really tight on your bad knee side. Maybe this is something useful for you to know. Knees close together. And already I'm saying, oh, this is going to be tight. Well, let's find out. Yes, it's tight, all right. And so I'm encouraging this hips off the ground, so I'm encouraging it to go down and let everything, the knee sinks down, the hip sinks down, a little bit of help from a hand. I find this tension, it's guarding it. It's saying, no, I don't want to relax and lengthen here. So if I just do the breathing for relaxation and the relaxing of the neck. Interesting. There's a fear factor and a guarding action going on here, but once the nerves let go, the stretch can happen. Right. I'd like to just take us into a quick look at the world of stretches for hurdlers. I hold a couple of 60s records for hurdling, athletics hurdling. I can't really boast because I'm the only person, 60-year-old, that's tried it in the last 10 years and come out alive. Okay, so I'm going to find a footstool. It is very worthwhile to think about stretching, even if it's uncomfortable for hips, because old people have very inflexible hips. And if you watch them walking around like cripples in the supermarket, don't get me wrong, there's a few people with really good, walking in their old age, but there's an awful lot that aren't. I'd say 2/3 of them, oh, it looks terrible. And I think, oh, if only I could help them, we could work something out for them. But stretching for hips is good. So hurdle stretch, number one stretch is ideally, can you do that? I'm going to have a little bit of help from something here. Can you do that? And how low could you get your popo to the ground here? Just under the glute muscle here. How low could we get it? We'd use a measuring stick. Like, oops. We get a friend to get the builder's tape measure in there. And I think at the moment I'm about 25 centimeters. Now, for an old fellow, this is good flexibility, but if I want to do hurdles, it's not good flexibility. All right, I just wonder how you're finding that. So we'll just have a comparison. I'm not sure what your knees will be doing for this, but you can just do what you can do then. This is stretching, basic stretching for hurdlers. I feel some stretch in the lower tummy as well as the front of the inner thigh muscles and the hamstrings. And you can see, you can get someone to measure with a builder's tape measure from the buttock down to the ground. Wonderful stretch for the lower tummy, and a wonderful stretch for the inside leg muscles, and also for what's in between, because these muscles insert with tendons on the pubic bone area, and there's an area that is called a pubic aponeurosis. It's just a sheet of really thick connective tissue over the pubic bones, and it connects with the muscles on the leg and on the lower tummy. Right, so did you enjoy your hurdle stretch? Let's come out. I hope this was some use to you. So I'm going to show you the meanest, or one of the really mean stretches for non-flexible people, and we're going to use a little bit of help from a footstool. If I was more flexible, I would demonstrate something else. But so we're sitting here with, you could sit on a double-folded cushion, that would work. One leg's forward. Now this leg comes back to 90 degrees if we can get it back there. And we put the knee at 90. So there's 90 degrees from one leg to the other, and there's 90 degrees in the knee, and we're working at getting the inside leg stretched. Now, your next job is to put your knee on your head on the knee in front. All right? And if that was all right, your next job is to put your head, don't laugh, put your head on the other knee. All right? So if you were a really flexible athletic hurdler or circus performer, yes, you could get your head close to your knee. And this really brings home just how inflexible we are around the hip joints. So hopefully we're in the zone. Now for me, I can make that reasonably comfortable by sitting on a footstool. It's a waste of time me thinking of not doing it with a footstool. So how did you find that? So if we are able to do that, can you just think about doing a little bit of the old mermaid stretch? It's not a mermaid because our legs aren't close together. Okay, and if we can just hook onto a leg, let's try and do the other. I can be tall through my body. I'm getting quite a lot of strength and coordination around the hips and lumbar and flexibility. It could be helping with the knee. Maybe there's a weakness here that needs to be, or an imbalance that needs sorted. We'll find out if one side's tightened than the other. Shall we try the other side? So this is one of the two hurdlers stretches. And you'll see them sitting on the track, these flexible young ladies and whatever. They'll be doing this stretch. Remember what to do? There's 90 degrees between the thigh bones and the 90 degree on this knee. And I'm telling you already, this is my tight side. Okay, and how about you? By the way, I do have one knee that is slightly sore. And this side has the flexibility problems on the hip. The same side as the knee has flexibility problems in the hip. Maybe that's the same for you. We can share notes on that. Right. The hurdlers test. Can we get the head on the knee? Okay. And can we get the head coming down towards this knee? Maybe not today. A little bit. Okay. And can we pretend like we do the mermaid action? Wave with the arm, but as the arm comes over, the ribs are lifting. Remember the 1, 2, 3 of the side bit? Lift the ribs, number 1. Lift the neck, number 2. Lift the side head, 3. And back. So that the ribs are lifting at the same time as the arm's coming over and the head's coming over. Might do another 2. Yeah, ribs lifting. Okay. Now, this is going to be a little difficult for me. I don't know about you. Yes, I'm just about there. All right, so, right. So maybe you can join me for a hurdle race soon. The beauty of doing hurdles in New Zealand is that as a 60-year-old, I get to run with all the beautiful young ladies because we're in the same 100-meter hurdle race. So that's the one really beautiful thing about it. But I better not say that to my wife. The bad side of that is they beat me. They're a lot quicker than me. All right. Now, I don't have an easy way of coming out of that. I have another quad stretch, the athlete's quad stretch I like to show you. There's 2 ways of doing it. I'm just going to show you the tall kneeling version. And from there, I'll show you a sideline version, which is quite nice. So it's just one leg's forward, and the other, you just get your ankle up. Now, I've pigeon-toed this foot, see it's angled. I can get the toes to go wide and get that nice wide toes as well. We just send the lower body forward to go. So that's an athlete's quad stretch. It's stretching especially up the upper thigh. Okay, I'll switch sides. I'm going to show you a version of this which is maybe a little nicer. All right, toes wide. Whatever, just try and get them wide. That's just part of what we're doing today. Maybe it'll help your stability through your leg if you get your toes wide and more stability in your foot, get the leg up. Oh, right, that's tight. And we send the tummy forward, set the lower ribs forward. All right, I have a side-lying version of this. So just give us 5 seconds here. And side-lying is similar to this athlete's quad stretch. And we're looking for a shape in space but lying on our sides. You just pull the lower leg up. You see that knees forward and the other leg's back. Are you able to bring your knee down? For a lot of people, it's tight in such a way that the knee is high. Can you let the knee go down? Now, if we were doing yoga, we'd hold that for 2 minutes or something. And after a while, the guarding reflex, the oh no, I don't want to stretch reflex softens, and you might just feel you're lengthening through your body, you're relaxing of your neck. With each relaxed lower half of body breath. You can see that shape in space is like the tall kneeling version of the athlete's quad stretch. I'm interested to know what my tight side is like, what my bad side is like, what my bad knee side is like. Lower knees forward. Hello, this knee wants to stay up in the air. I'm going to ask it to go down. It doesn't want to go down. All right, relax, breathe. Lower half of body, relax the neck. And with that, I'm just going to come up and check how we're doing.